History on the line, the battle for Canada's identity. Reflecting on our present world, we stand at a critical junction, much like our ancestors did in the tumultuous times preceding World War II and during the onset of the Soviet era in Russia. In those times, it was the rise of fascism, the advent of totalitarianism, the ushering in of communism. Today, we face a different but no less significant shift that threatens to engulf the societal fabric of our nation, the erosion of our traditions, our values, and our identities. The Canadian passport, a symbol of our rich heritage and proud history, is under silent metamorphosis. Once adorned with images of our venerable veterans, our national heroes like Terry Fox, and the Vimy Memorial honoring 3,598 soldiers who sacrificed their lives, it now bears benign symbols like industrious squirrels or diligently rakers. Why this shift from the depiction of great achievements and symbols of national pride to the everyday and the mundane? Why this move from heroes to insignificance? As the leader of the Conservative Party compellingly articulates, this could be viewed as a strategic effort to wipe away the existing painting of Canada's identity to allow for a redesign on a blank slate. This redesign seems to align with a different vision of Canada, one allegedly shaped by leaders' admiration for certain foreign ideologies and a seeming desire to reshape the country's image in line with those foreign views. The leader's criticism highlights the danger of such subtle yet profound changes in the representation of our identity. Our identities are woven into the activities and industries that traditionally thrived under the influence of warriors, hardened men, or those imbued with the spirit of the warrior ethos. Today, these industries, from our long-term army modernization efforts to our naval shipbuilding projects and our police force recruitment, are struggling due to a shortage of new specialist recruits and an outdated air force. The absence of the warrior ethos is keenly felt in these industries. Men, who are traditionally associated with activities like paintball, airsoft, firearms, farming, energy work, resource work, hunting, sports shooting, collecting firearms, preparedness, and private digital entrepreneurship, are finding their identities under threat. They are no longer seen as leaders or able to contribute to society in these traditionally male-related occupations and activities. This assault goes deeper than mere activities. It's an attack on our very identity and way of life. As the leader of the Conservative Party rightly points out, this erasing of heroes and achievements from our collective narrative aims to create a space void of inspiring figures from the past, allowing for the creation of new heroes who align more closely with the current administration's ideals. But is this the kind of leadership we need? Canada's democratic tradition, tracing back 800 years to the Magna Carta, has evolved to a place where the people are in charge, a concept eloquently echoed in the leader's speech. This precious inheritance is under threat if we fail to keep our common stories, our common symbols, and most importantly, our common sense. Leadership is not about erasing or rewriting history but acknowledging and learning from it while shaping a better future. It's about upholding the warrior ethos, a universal symbol of courage, honor, and duty. It's about creating an environment where men can once again be leaders, warriors, contributors to society in their unique ways, respected and accepted in their identities. And importantly, it's about ensuring that each one of us, regardless of our gender, our background, or our occupation, gets a fair chance to write our own chapter in this story. Let's stand together, let's fight together, let's preserve our heritage, our identities, and our future. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. As the Greek proverb reminds us, it's our responsibility, as professionals and citizens, to sow seeds for the future, even if we may not personally benefit from it. We can start by embracing the warrior ethos that has long been a part of our identity, nurturing our democratic traditions, and upholding the values that make us Canadians. We can strive to build a society where leaders prioritize the people over the state, where every profession is respected, and every citizen can freely express their identity. This is not just about our identity, it's about our legacy. Let us be the guardians of our past, the stewards of our present, and the architects of our future. Let's ensure that the heroes of our past inspire the leaders of our future. Let's bring back our traditions and freedom home, where they truly belong. We owe it to ourselves and the generations to come. For the ultimate victory is the preservation of our identity. Let's bring it home. Related content. YouTube video clip title: C-21 fails to protect Canadians. Description: after many months of fighting, the Liberals, with the support of their NDP allies, have finally forced their deeply flawed Bill C-21 to a vote in the House of Commons. This so-called public safety legislation is a failure on so many fronts. It does nothing to address the real threats of violence in our communities, and instead punishes law-abiding firearms owners. The Liberals provided no compelling evidence to support their legislation, and it is clear that the real goal is to eliminate the culture of responsible legal firearms ownership in this country. I will continue to stand against Liberal legislation that attacks law-abiding firearm owners and fight for real consequences for the criminals committing violence in our communities. Dane Lloyd, MP, speaks about Bill C-21. Dear Dane Lloyd, I believe that you should consider running for a leadership position one day, be it in politics or in the corporate world. However, at present, it seems the time has been carved out for someone very special, Pierre. His unique and historic qualities set him apart. He is not just another PM. Pierre truly fits the context of our times, and the last 4 years have proven this to be exceptionally true. Canadians need Pierre. It feels like a type of saga or destiny with him at the helm, like the gravity of which can match and supersede any movie known to viewers. His time is now, and there are so many elements that fit and align in the world, and in our reality, with him as PM. Canada was meant to have a destiny of its own. There's a sense that something could go terribly wrong with Canada if we deviate from the path Pierre has laid out. In sensing this great danger, I believe that crowd intelligence will shift towards Pierre and the Conservative Party. Nonetheless, the future inevitably will call upon new leaders. Hence, if you haven't thought about it, I wanted to mention that I believe you could provide a leadership that meets people's needs and represents their struggles at some point. Your dedication is what we, as a society, need in our leaders. I hope my words accurately convey the deep respect and adoration I have for your investigations, analysis, and advocacy. I thank you for raising the bar. To those who may think I'm simply lavishing praise, know this: I haven't praised people in 30 years. But there's something happening within the Conservative Party, which is identity-wise, similar to the of spirits the ongoing legislation is seemingly designed to suppress, such as censorship and freedom and ethos of strength and heroism. This Conservative Party seems to have taken on this difficult oppression with a time of serious will to live and to thrive, reminiscent of any hero's journey, and it's similar to something like the struggle of professional athletes who are all-star basketball players, etc. Extending these thoughts, I've been considering the erasure of Vimy Ridge from our collective consciousness. If such a significant part of our history is so offensive to Trudeau, then we need to think about what could replace it. In my view, only the heroes of Canada could fill such a void. In observing you and your colleagues, I'm increasingly convinced that you are the heroes we need to acknowledge. It might not be typical for a politician to be a hero in the minds of many, but times change, I guess. For this particular moment in time, I'd even suggest that the 2020 to 2023 Conservative MP historical contributions warrant acknowledgement on our passports. It was a time of great distress for many, and not representing this distress would be a big shame and a big memory wipe. It would be the equivalent of pretending WW2 didn't happen. I see you exceeding your call of duty in the House of Commons, and I saw 5 to 8 other conservative MPs do a fine job just like you, leading the charge against dark legislative attempts, which are like coming out faster than flying bullets out of a machine gun. Imagine what plan there must be for all of this fast writing. Trudeau must have hired 500 socialist typewriting assistants. It strikes the eye as odd as to the quantity of this legislation because you would only need to change the laws so much if you really didn't like Canadian laws. From numerous forced censorship-related bills to anti-freedom legislation, assaults on the firearms community for 3 full years, and anything remotely military, to changes in immigration oaths, to changes in land policy in BC, and attempts for land grabs in the prairies. There are simply too many pieces of legislation that attack the core ethos of our citizens, the core ownership of citizens, the core rights of citizens, the core identity of citizens, the core ethos of warriors. To let you know, believe your valiant struggle has defended many silent groups such as immigrants, STEM professionals, and military individuals, which do not make as much noise as online maniacs. If it were up to me, I'd include the Conservative team on our passports as a testament to your service, and as a way to reflect the sacrifice half of the population faced with Trudeau at the helm, and you were the representatives of the fallen citizens of Canada. And Pierre, with his own page, symbolizing his historic leadership as he is seemingly a figure which no man rose to be. No one had the courage when he had the courage. In addition, the Conservative Party's alignment with Gen X is also historic. It's not typical, in the historical sense I don't think, at least I didn't see it in Canada, and in the USA, for a nation's leadership to skew towards the younger generations. Yet here we are, witnessing a shift in which the House of Commons genuinely cares for the next generation, in addition to everyone else. This is a historic moment that should be marked in our collective memory on the passports. Thank you once again for your service and dedication. YouTube video clip title: Why is Justin Trudeau destroying so many Canadian icons, including our passport? Description: there is a pattern going on, and the pattern is not a shock, it's what to be expected from Justin Trudeau. He is a one-world socialist type of person. And the only way you can get to that is you have to remove the history of Canada, said Manny Montenegrino. Rebel News YouTube channel. YouTube video clip title: Truth as a right-wing concept vertical bar Melanie Phillips. Description: British journalist Melanie Phillips argues that we have slipped into an age of cultural totalitarianism. She bases this off a widespread societal refusal to listen to evidence, accept reason, and consider dissenting views, which has the effect of reducing common freedoms for citizens across the Western world. Melanie Phillips' column currently appears in The Times, but over the years she has been published by The Guardian, Observer, Sunday Times, and Daily Mail. She also writes for the Jewish Chronicle and Jewish News Syndicate. Her best-selling book Londonistan, about the British establishment's capitulation to Islamist aggression, was published in 2006 by Encounter, New York. She followed this in 2010 with The World Turned Upside Down, The Global Battle Over God, Truth and Power, and in 2018 with her first novel, The Legacy. This is the third time she and John have sat down to talk.